Hi guys, and welcome back to Wardle Road. Now it's been a few weeks since we've had a brake van update, so that's what today's video is going to be about. As you can see, we made a rather large amount of progress on the outside cladding, and we've also made a fair bit of progress on the interior cladding as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll the intros, show you guys a few videos of how we got to this stage, and then I'll come back and catch up with some other little bits we've been getting on with. But as always guys, if you are enjoying the brake van series or the box van series, please do hit the thumbs up. If this is your first time here, please do subscribe, and as always, any feedback is always appreciated in the comment section down below. But other than that, let's get into today's video and hopefully you guys enjoy. Right, so hopefully that gives you a little idea of some of the bits that's been happening. Now, as you can see, we've got our main horizontal beam in on this side. Now, this was a fair amount of work. I didn't actually get any footage of us doing it just because we spent so much time trying to fit it, get it to fit correctly and look nice and get all the cuttings out and the holes drilled out here correctly. But now this one's in place. We've still got the one on the other side to do. But obviously the important thing about getting this right is that obviously, it cost £100 a piece for one of these horizontal bits. So it's not cheap to replace should we get it wrong. But as you can see, that's all painted up and fits in nicely. Now, coming to the cladding, as you can see underneath here, we've got a membrane. Now this actually sits on the top of this beam between the beam and the cladding, and that goes the whole way up to the very top. So should any water get in between the cladding, it will run down and straight out the bottom, rather than as it did before, which is seep through the cladding, completely rot the horizontal beam and start to ruin some of the interior cladding as well. So as you can see, we've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them on so far. Now the one piece I've got here, I've just been cutting out the other section here for the bolts to fit through, but when this piece comes onto the end here, this is actually the final piece that before the ducket starts. So this one's actually going to have to be made a little bit shorter at some point in the future, but for now I'm just going to get this on, painted up and fitted next to this one, and then once I've done the uprights for the ducket, I can then come back and cut this to the correct width. But just to get that on there for now also gives a bit more, again, protection to the membrane underneath. You'll see as well, I've also left some small gaps in between each one of these. Now I know it's winter, and obviously as the moisture gets into the wood expands, and then in the summer it shrinks. But I have just left a little gap here just in case in case there is any more expansion. Now, some of the lines weren't completely perfect to get the exact right gaps between each one as you look further up on some of them, and that's because some of these tongue and groove boards are a little bit warped. They weren't all completely dead straight, so I'm kind of working with what we've got, but I think it looks alright at the moment. Now, as you can see, I've covered it in dirty hand marks and things like that. Once I've got this piece on, I'm then going to come back over with another coat of paint, and then we'll go over with a coat of sealant or something over the top of that. What else I'd like to do is add the overhead electric warning signs. I can't remember what the overhead lines warning symbol that goes just above the screws there on these two left panels. So I'd like to get that on today as well, just to see what it looks like. As I mentioned earlier, this is all painted up. I just want to get a coat of paint on this one as well, so I'm going to need to sand that back a little bit. You see I've started already, and paint that just so it matches with the cladding. And then I will show you guys what I've been doing on the inside. So as you can probably see in the background there's some dark clouds coming over, which might put a halt to any exterior work we continue with today. That also makes it very difficult as well to paint outside and do any filming. But I'll just show you what's going on down this end. Now, the reason I haven't painted behind here yet is because I'm just test fitting this piece here with the handle. Now, this handle's been sanded back and painted several times, and it's got a lovely, nice, smooth finish to it now. This has been painted once. I think it needs another coat, but this will then come back off so I can paint the rest of it behind here, and then put the big, I think they're 16mm coach bolts that will then fix this bracket to the horizontal beam. Obviously that'll be done once that's all painted. So as you know, in the last brake van video we made some progress on this T-piece here, and as you can see, the metal sheet I still don't have with me at the moment, and that's because I've actually dropped it off to the guys at the Mid Norfolk Railway who are doing the DMU restoration, so I'll leave a link to their channel in the description below, and they are going to be repairing the metal piece here by removing a section at the bottom and welding a new piece on. That's because obviously the water had got into it and just started to rot away. So once I've got that piece back, that will then fit back on here and cover this all up again, and we'll get that painted as well. As you can see, I've started painting some of the uprights. I stopped here because I still needed to remove the lamp bracket, which I've done now, so I can carry on painting up. And you might just be able to see from that angle there, we've still only got half of these ceiling boards here painted so far. I still need to get the other side painted, but that's because I ran out of paint. But I've got the paint now, so hopefully we can get on with that as well. If it does start to get a bit wet outside, we can focus on some of the things in here. So what I'll do now is I'll come grab the camera and I'll show you what I've done inside. Right, so we're inside the brake van, and hopefully you can hear me a little bit better now than when I was outside with all that wind and traffic going by. But as you can see, if you follow me on Facebook, you'd have seen some of the progress on here anyway. I'll leave a link to the Facebook page in the description below if you want to go and keep up to date with regular pictures and videos of what I'm getting on with here. Now, as you may have seen, we've got the first three horizontal, I think these are around 10-foot beams, 10-foot tongue and groove boards, sorry, running across here. And then what I've done here is, I think this is about 42.5 inches. They're about the same length as the ones going to the ducket on the other side. They're a little bit longer though, because the plan is, as I mentioned with the last piece of cladding on the outside, is once the vertical framework is in for the ducket, I can then trim these back accordingly so they fit all nice and they butt up right to the vertical framework. Now, I had to put these on. As you see, not all of these are countersunk. I'll come and do them again at a later date. But this was basically to hold the framework together. So when I took the outside cladding off, the original stuff, it didn't all just fall apart. This was just to hold it and give it some kind of structural integrity, and allowed me to fit the cladding on without any of the internal bits moving. So you may not be able to see from that camera angle, but I will bring you a little bit closer to show you the board that I've done on the inside here. Now, this was the board underneath where the desk was. So there's a couple of holes here that I've had to drill through just to make sure the desk fits back on here and lines up, and everything comes back into here how I removed it. And that also lines up with some of the holes that will be on the outside of the cladding as well. And you'll also see from the shot I put in now, I've used membrane on the exterior of this as well. Now the plan is, because this membrane is, I think it's around £20 for about 30 metres of it, you get quite a lot of material for your money, which is fantastic. But it means any exterior wood, prior to the internal structural stuff, I'm going to put a layer of this membrane. And again, that is purely to increase the lifespan of the wood I'm using, and I think that alone is going to definitely add a few more years to it, which is good money wise and good structurally wise as well. But yeah, I've also done the board for the outside bit, so I just need to trim up a couple of the corners here, and then that can be fitted to the external side of where the desk is. Now, interior jobs wise, as you know, I haven't done the side to the right of the camera. I'm just doing one side at a time. My next part will be, obviously, once the vertical framework is in, I could then start removing the cladding that way, because I've started this side. I want to work my way across towards where the camera is. I don't want to start either end and then have some awkward slither of tongue and groove board in the middle of where the ducket is. So we're going to start here, work our way across. The inside doesn't matter too much, because obviously we're working horizontally, rather than with the vertical bits of wood. So this can all be worked on. Again, I need to do the same thing, removing the inside cladding there, putting some new stuff on, which gives me the strength to pull the outside cladding off without it all falling apart. These pieces here, up until about here, I think have been treated as well several times with some wood preserver. Now, I still need to go over this with a coat of paint, and that's where I did ask on the Facebook group, but I'll ask on here as well, because at the time of filming this and editing this, I haven't actually got around to painting it. But what colour do you think we should do the interior? Now, I've had suggestions for sort of a light grey, a dark grey, a cream, a sort of off-white colour, a bright white. Let me know in the comment section what you think would suit this. Remember, of course, it's in its civil engineer's grey livery with the yellow strip, which is the last livery it carried prior to coming out of service. So yeah, let me know in the comment section what colour you think we should go for, and then we can have a look at painting some of the inside in a few episodes time. Obviously there's no rush to get this painted, as it's all internal and protected from the elements anyway, but yeah, going to try and make some more progress on this, and then hopefully once the cladding on the inside on both sides of this is done, we can then get round to painting it. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think, and yeah, let's jump into the next clip. So as you can see again from here, the membrane is sitting on the outside of the wood. Now this has been, prior to arriving here, has been pressure treated, and I've also given it a couple of coats of preserve myself. No point wasting any paint on something that is not only not going to get wet or anything like that, but it's also going to be underneath the floorboards, so it would be completely pointless to paint that up. So I'm going to leave that as it is, like that. The metal that is sat on has also been treated as well, so I'm hoping anything behind the membrane pretty much will be nice, and it will stay nice and dry and last a reasonably long time. Now the boards you see here, the two wooden beams you see here, these actually are going to sit, they're two 5-foot lengths, they're going to sit on top of here, and that brings it up level with the concrete flooring, which then means that the floorboards will then sit on top of that. Now I can't put them in obviously till the cladding is all the way down to the bottom. The flooring will then butt up to that, and that will then seal in this area nicely. But as I said, the main priority for making any more progress with this, aside the cladding behind the camera, will be to start on the vertical framework for the duckets. Then of course once they're in and the horizontal beams are done for the ducket frame as well, the ducket can then go back in, and that's when it will really, I think, start to take shape, and I can then get rid of that horrible tarpaulin on the outside until obviously I have to start on the side behind the camera. But yeah, it's good progress. As I say, let me know in the comments what you think of it so far. It's pretty much a one-man job at the moment. Charles gives me a hand every now and then when he has some free time. Obviously I couldn't have done the main horizontal beam without him, so I really appreciate his help for that. But yeah, let's jump into the next clip. Right, so as you can see, we've now got the extra piece, the final piece for this section of it on the end here, with the hole cut out for the bolt that runs the whole way through. Now, as I said earlier, this one's going to be cut a little bit shorter, so the screw slightly further up I've done slightly off centre, so that way when it comes to making this a little bit thinner, the screw won't be too close to the edge of that piece of cladding. As you can see in the shot I put now, I've got the overhead live wires, the danger sign up there, and that's just simply because I just wanted to see what it looked like in place. Now the positioning for it is exactly where it was. I'll put a picture up now, so you can see just pretty much just level with the top of the bolt of the hand railing, and I'm guessing platform level, that is sort of eye level when you step into the brake van, so I suppose that's the most obvious place where someone would see it. But yeah, I'm really pleased with how this has come on. I once again run out of paint, so I need to go get some more. But the next step will be to start the framework for this ducket. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this short update. If you did, please do hit the thumbs up. Again, any feedback in the comment section below is appreciated, as well as let me know what colour you think we should paint the inside. But other than that, I will see you all in the next one, and yeah, thanks for watching.